Everyone is bracing for disruption, scrambling to keep up, trying to prepare for the wave or the bubble. But what if the best preparation isn't actually new at all? What if it's something that you already know? Hey, welcome back to Dataliction Essentials. I'm John. And today, we are talking about something that most companies are completely missing when it comes to leading change in the era of AI. There is this growing myth, we keep seeing it right now, that because this new tech is fast, that somehow the rules have changed for change. That everything about your operating model, team structure, decision-making process has to be rethought. But that is just not true. In fact, what's needed most right now is not how to, reinvent how change works, but to return to the principles that have always worked. And that's what today, in our episode here, is all about. A lot of what sparked this particular Essentials episode came from our longer conversation between me and Travis. And, we were both, naming all of these eerie similarities, very, very similar to what's happening right now in AI to what's already happened in the past with different waves of disruption. System rollouts, ERP transitions, e-commerce booms, the COVID hybrid work shifts, electricity, the internet. They all had different labels, but the same mess underneath. There were communication breakdowns, there was poor planning, there were siloed teams, blind top-down rollouts, huge gaps between intention and impact. We tend to assume that our current moment is somehow different just because the tech seems fancier or it's new, or that somehow that the stakes are higher. But every single time that we've lived through big change as humans, the same root causes show up and the same timeless disciplines still solve them. That's the trick of clarity. It's not just knowing what's new. That's fine. It's knowing what never stopped working. For example, when we think about how to implement AI across a company, we often jump straight to the use cases or ROI. And I get it. That makes, generally sense. But we skip the first most important human step, which is building a shared understanding, not alignment, not compliance, understanding. And that means taking time to make sure every department and every decision maker and every team, actually knows what this initiative is for, who it affects, how it helps them do their job better. And that principle isn't new. It's the same thing that helped, you clarify your go-to-market strategy 3 years ago, or that time you rewrote your onboarding because people were still getting confused 6 months into the job. None of that changes just because AI is now involved. It includes AI, but none of that changes. So here's another timeless truth. People support what they help create. People support what they help create. That's not a motivational quote. Okay, so it's not some poster. That's a change management principle. If you want your teams to adopt AI tools, they need to be part of the decision-making process. They don't need to vote on software, but they do need to be heard about what's actually slowing them down. What problems matter to them, what friction feels like in their day-to-day. The solutions, that you implement will be stronger if you start with the actual context from them instead of just assumptions. And again, this is not a new idea. This is, just being forgotten right now because everybody is just trying to go, I would say, too fast. You don't need to be going faster, period. You need to be going clearer. You need to teach your company how to change, how to stay flexible. You need to reawaken the instincts and the habits that already got you there. And that includes the habit of doing deep work before doing wide work. Deep work before wide work. It's incredibly tempting to go department by department and sprinkle AI across every workflow. But real traction usually starts when you choose one pain point, one team, and one tool, and then stick with it long enough to actually deliver a meaningful outcome. That takes patience. It does. It takes precision, and it takes follow through. But these are all things that you have done before. So let's talk about leadership for a second here. We're very passionate about leadership. Most of what makes change fail isn't technical, it's emotional. And I know we might not like that, but it's still the truth. Fear of looking dumb, fear of slowing down the team, fear of not having the answers. Good leaders already know how to create psychological safety, how to be honest about what they don't know, how to invite others into the process, and how to keep the team moving even when the path isn't fully clear. That's not AI specific. That's just leadership, period. If you've, led well through change before, great news. You've already been fully equipped for what you need to do right now. You just need to apply those same muscles in the context of AI, okay? I'll give you a practical example. We've seen companies roll out AI tools to automate proposals, speed up data entry or, summarize internal meetings, something like that. But in the ones that succeed, it's not the tech that made the difference at all. It was the manager who paused long enough to ask, what could actually, what would great actually look right here? Like, what is great? Or, the founder that says, hey, I know we said we'd launch this in April, but the team's a little confused and that's on me. Let's pause, regroup, and then let's do it right. Those moments of courage and clarity are the ones that turn change into momentum. And they have nothing to do with artificial intelligence, okay? Those are very, very human. So here is your takeaway. Don't let the pace of AI fool you into thinking you have to lead differently. You don't. You just have to lead intentionally. Use what already works. Build clarity before speed. Engage before you enforce. Choose one initiative and finish the job. Most of all, be human enough to say, what's true. This is hard. This is new. But we're going to figure it out together. Thanks for listening to this episode of Dataliction Essentials. For your next step, visit our website, dataliction.com. Sign up for our free 30-minute AI readiness consultation. You'll be able to fill out the form and instantly see our availability and schedule a time. The intake form does include some of our key questions, and it helps us to be radically helpful for you in just that short time. Yes, I promise. And if it makes sense, for us to talk more about our AI adoption operating system, feel free to read up on that. We'll walk you through it if it makes sense. But even if we don't go further, this is a great first step toward helping your team grow on purpose by using AI the right way.